Hi, my name is Larry Granger. I'm a native of South Louisiana, born and raised south of Interstate 10 all my life. Really developed a fondness for the culture and the culinary part of the French Acadian culture. Along with that, jambalaya, gumbo, crawfish etouffees, anything involved with natural foods from the area. Crabs. Today, we're in crawfish season and managed to get crawfish tails from the Chafalaya Basin. These are wild caught, as good as crawfish can be, and we're going to make an etouffee today. And we'll start off by using the basic butter and flour to make a roux. Love to have you join me in the kitchen. Come on in. Get started. Welcome to my kitchen. We'll start off today by using a product. It's a shortcut. It has a chopped onion, bell pepper, celery, and it's probably commonly known as the Holy Trinity. We'll start using that. We'll also use fresh green onion, parsley. Smells great. And later on into the recipe, we'll be using a little brown sugar to sweeten the dish up. We'll be using chopped garlic. And also, about a half a cup of flour. We'll be starting a roux with that. And 2 sticks of butter. Join me at the stove. We will get started making the roux. We're melting the butter in the black iron pot. It's always best to use a heavy black iron pot. We'll start off melting 2 sticks of butter, unsalted butter, and they appear to be pretty well melted. And I always like using a flat bottom spoon, wooden spoon. That seems to work better in a black iron pot. It helps you from having any stuck flour which would burn. We'll start off with this half cup of flour, and you'll need to mix it without letting up. Just continue stirring and mixing. And we'll be looking for a dark brown color. Not quite darkness of chocolate, but not far from it. Sort of between a paper bag color and chocolate. And I have the fire on about medium. And the black iron pot, once it's heated, will continue holding good solid heat. I'm adding a small amount more flour to the mixture. I started with a half a cup. It needs to vary somewhat, but putting an additional quarter of a cup of flour in, I think this should work about right. We want it to be the thick consistency, like a real heavy gravy, and continue stirring, small amounts at a time. This probably will take from beginning to completion of the roux, roughly 15-20 minutes. And there we have probably what amounts to about 3/4 of a cup of flour, along with the 2 sticks of butter. Yeah, that seems to be somewhat thicker. And we're almost there, just a small amount of, we're cooking. We're light brown now. Like to get it, a couple of shades darker than it is. And at that point, we will add the mixture of frozen chopped onion, bell pepper, celery. And it'll also stop the cooking process by adding the cold mixture to this, which is what we're after. And we'll continue adding the rest of the ingredients as the onion, bell pepper, all cook themselves until sort of a clear, wilted state. And at that point, they should be ready to go. And you can see we're gaining on the color, a little browner than it was just a couple of minutes ago. Okay, we're at the point, we're between that paper bag color and chocolate candy bar. And it's starting to smoke a small amount, which we have to be awful careful here. If we're not careful, we can go too far. The burner has been lowered to just about 1/4 of the temperature. And we're going to stop the cooking process at this point by adding the frozen Holy Trinity. This will stop the cooking process. We'll just continue stirring everything until it becomes translucent, wilted looking. It's both red pepper, green pepper, celery, and onion. And what we're looking at is for translucence, wilted, both the onion and pepper celery. So just continue stirring, another minute or two, and I think we'll be there. Okay, we're almost at the point of adding our broth and garlic, a few other ingredients. You want to wait and add the garlic right towards the end. You don't want to overheat the garlic and have it burn. It'll give it a very bitter taste. Okay, we've added about a cup of the seafood broth. As you can see, most of the vegetables have turned into a wilted, translucent state. And we're almost ready to go ahead and add the crawfish tails and the rest of the ingredients along with the garlic. We've got about a pound crawfish tails along with the natural fat. We'll go ahead and add this to the process at this point. We'll add them slowly in the center of the pot, continuing to stir. We'll get everything shaken out of the bag here. And I think what we might do is go ahead and add a little more seafood broth to the bag to get this extra fat, which is where a lot of the flavoring comes from. See, it's dripping out onto the stove. What I like to use, just a small amount of, maybe a half a cup, a few drops, is a crawfish boil, or crab crawfish boil. And we'll just add a very small amount, very strong, so you don't want to add much. There, probably 4 or 5 drops, just to give it a little bit of a boiled seafood flavor added to it. Mix this up with everything. At this point, we'll add more garlic to it. About a tablespoon. Just put it in right into the mixture. Make sure everything's out of the spoon. And as usual, we'll continue mixing everything, stirring the garlic up with the crawfish. Okay, we'll add about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to the mix. We'll continue stirring this. And we'll, at this point, add some of the Cajun seasoning. Oh, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons worth. Whatever suits everyone. And we'll mix this up, continue to mix it up with the rest of everything. And we're going to add 2-3 tablespoons roughly of tomato paste, and just to give it a little different color. Sort of a orange colored, so to speak, a very dark orange. Okay, have the green onions in. We'll now add the parsley, roughly a half a cup, and just continue to mix it all up. Well, there's the bell from the rice cooker. Rice should be done. Yeah, I think it is. My favorite time in the recipe. Let's see what it got under the hood. Looks good. Even smells good. My favorite part of this. Really good. Hope you learned something here today. Good luck, happy eating.